So this is it, actually. I have a few of them behind us. So this is the actual dried flower, and we'll talk a bit in a second while it's dried. If you could smell it, it's like tarragon and anise together. So that's the dried stuff. I don't know if you can see the color, but they're these tiny bunches of marigold. Like instead of the multi-petal, they're more of a, you'll see some pictures. Oh, you see it there. Here they are growing. They just sprouted up. I bought these. It's from these flowers that I bought in the market. They sell them in just about every traditional market. Mexico is it's kind of neck and neck with China to have the largest medicinal plant culture. So you'll find this stuff everywhere. They're learning now more that it's not just wives' tales and folklore, but that the university here is testing all of these old remedies to see what it is and what's happening, and so they're confirming almost all of it. I think we've talked about that with the hibiscus. So these are sprouting here, and this is just, these are the leaves and the flowers and made into a tea, which I'm drinking. It's perfect timing because it settles your stomach, everything digestive. We'll get into it in a second. But what you see here, you guys can see those on the side of my screen, right? There we go. I'll just collapse it. Okay. So the other common names, sweet scented marigold, Mexican mint, all those guys there. The more common name in a nursery you'll probably see in the States is, in the past couple of years, they've been pushing it as Mexican tarragon. It tastes a lot like tarragon, which if you're not familiar, it's a little bit sweet, it's aromatic, it shares a lot of the same chemical compounds as basil, and a few other things we're going to list in here. So it has those flavors in the background, but mostly a anise flavor, which is delicious. And so I'm going to take this right now. I'm going to see what time it is. I'm going to tell you when my stomach feels better. It's not an herb. Oh, it's minty too. It's not an herb that you can overdose on. It's not something like epizote, which we're going to talk about in 2 weeks, that induces contractions of like a uteral wall or something. So it's safe, but it's part of a birthing tea, that mix of like 30 something herbs and flowers that help you when you're late going into labor. Then we gonna go the other way. That's confusing, huh? So the arrow keys are not it, huh? Itil. Oh, I just ruined my surprise. You guys, I'm messing it up real bad. Which are the which are the keys to change it? Because it's I want to go back. I want to go back. Stop. It's only going forward. It's getting worse. 1 second. I'm using someone else's computer, so it's confusing. Everything I push just advances it. It should go back because we missed like the first 20. Those don't work. They just bunk in my ear. Well, now they work. Before they were just making a sound. Okay, so those are the common names these days. The most common is pericon, or yerbanis. The Nahuatl names for it are here. They're if you're not fluent in Nahuatl, they can be a little tricky. But Nahuatl is the most spoken language out of all the 57 here in Mexico. And if they say if Mexico hadn't been gifted to the Spanish, it would be probably the most spoken language in the world today. But a lot of those words stuck around. Chocolate, avocado, tomato, they're all Nahuatl words. And Cempasúchil, I'm gonna mess it up. Cempasúchil is what they call marigolds today, and it's more of a general term for all of the different species in that genus. And it's spelled like that, Sempoalxochitl. But today it's Cempasúchil. So it's not what we call it today, but it's Tagetes. This is the Latin classification, which is the genus, and then it's in the sunflower family, Asteraceae, which, if you look at some of the characteristics of the plant, they do resemble each other. But so within that genus, there are a ton of different species. We're just looking at one today. And of the two most popular in Mexico, there's Mexicana and Lucida, and we're looking at Lucida today. And those are the difference in how they look, although they can also vary in color and how the petals are formed, and the leaves as well. The one behind me and the one that we're looking at today has leaves that are more shaped like a tarragon, even though they're in different families. That they share a lot of the chemical compounds which give them the likeness. Then you can see how many species there are. The menuta, the huacate, down on the bottom left. If you've ever been to Peru, there's a potato dish that's everywhere. It's what would it be like, the side of fries, I guess, of America, of the US. And I actually have that growing a lot back in the garden as well. They're just kind of tiny. When they sprout up, they look like marigold. They can get up to 6 or 8 feet depending on the weather, but they usually flower around a foot or a third of a meter. And they have a mint, they call it mint marigold as well. Has a nice minty flavor, and a lot of the same medicinal properties as the Lucida that we're looking at today, but they make a sauce out of it with onion and usually some kind of dairy, and they bathe fried potatoes in it, and it's fantastic. And I managed to safely smuggle some seeds over the border, even though it's super illegal. Yeah, that's a different story. These are all the species, and those are the two that we just mentioned here. Those are the recognized species. There are others that are up have been nominated to be added to the official species list, but these are what we have so far. So the growing conditions, if y'all plan to find it, we'll go back. They are hardy to zone 9. They like mostly sun. They will overwinter. They're going to flower between August and September, and they're hermaphrodites, which means that they have both sex organs, both male and female. Other plants that have it, oh, look at that lonely S. What happened to you? It's hemp, roses. There's a ton that have them. These are just the most. These are the most common in flowers, and then we have petunias. I didn't know that one actually. And Jamie Lee Curtis is also a famous hermaphrodite. Lady Gaga and the voice actress for Meowth. They like sandy soil, kind of loose. They can deal with clay, but they won't grow as big or as fast. But they just don't want to be standing in water. And this goes for everything in that family. So if you are planting any marigolds, which you'll have a reason to in a bit if you haven't before, they like the same conditions. Traditionally, they were used as an incense in a ceremony to the rain god, Tlaloc. He's kind of sexy, I think. I kind of have a crush on him. And as a yellow fabric dye, which, if you've ever seen dyed fabric from Mexico, the colors are super brilliant, super saturated, and I'm dying to take a course or like a week or a month and learn how to make these dyes, because I feel like they're just more, they're brighter and they last longer than anywhere else, even Indian fabric I've seen. So they're also the dried flowers like I had behind me are an effective insect repellent for a few species in particular, which I'll list in a second. But I in the meantime had made a demonstration for you guys. I made a video that we're going to watch so you can see that they truly are effective. That shit is gone. Bye. So if you do grow it, you can turn it into incense at the end of the season when all the flowers are gone. I guess we're gonna watch it again because it wants to. Then yeah. So no. So marigolds in general are fantastic to repel nematodes, but the kind that we don't want. There's some nematodes that we do want, some that we don't. Marigolds have been used forever as a companion crop to repel the bad guys. Don't take my word for it that the picture of these is the bad guys. I kind of just took the first one that showed up. But they all look the same to me, and that's not racist because they're nematodes. They also, it's going to be on another slide. It's also a great mosquito repellent and certain kinds of pests that you find around your houses and gardens. Medicinal uses, I'm gonna list them in just a bit. Why is that skipping my section? Well, we should get to it eventually. It's just in reverse. So we're going to start with what it treats, and then I'm going to tell you why and with what chemical compounds. It's just about everything. That's a good one. Diarrhea, nobody wants that. Everything stomach, everything digestion, colds and flus. It's one of those herbs that's antifungal, antimicrobial, antibacterial, antiviral. So it's kind of a catch-all. So it's a good time of year to be drinking the tea, or if you can, cook with it. So I learned this new illness called empacho, and it sounds awful. It's a little bit of everything that will just throw you down, but I couldn't find what it's caused from other than obstruction of the stomach. That could be anything, like you swallow a penny, or you have like a bypass surgery. I don't know. Typhoid, you don't hear, that's a cool one to have on the list. I know personally 0 people that have ever had typhoid this year. So it's probably because of this. It's probably because of this marigold. But you see, as you go through, it's also part of the milk, like the mother's milk tea after giving birth, which helps to induce breast milk production. And we'll talk about why when we get to one of the compounds in just a little bit. It's a diuretic. It kills candida and staph, which is amazing. That's pretty powerful. And E. coli. We can't forget about that. The delicious, no, wait. All right, we're gonna go through this, and then if I don't find those, I'm gonna try something else in a second. We're gonna skip over the chemical compounds for some reason and talk about their culinary uses, but I really want to save that for the end. No, I'm gonna find these slides. Hang tight. Where'd these guys go? Here they are. No, that's not true either. Can you Itiel, can you resend this presentation because it seems to be missing all the nerdy chemical-y stuff, which is like 40 pages. We're gonna find it in a second. Is it open there? Oh, yeah, this is, actually, I'll run over and find it. 1 second, guys. Want some waiting music? One second, guys. Here we go. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Store this for minutes. It's not all of it, but we're going to do this and then maybe we switch back to this. Let's switch back to the first one. So, yeah, go ahead and restore that. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. Maybe I fell asleep on my computer. That's totally like yeah, the one with all the nerd words on it. Okay. Okay, I'm just refreshing it. We got it back. I don't know what happened there, guys, but luckily, look, I don't work for Google, but right now I'm going to give them a great endorsement. They automatically save versions for you on Google Drive, which is saving my butt right now, because this part's pretty interesting. I like it. I don't know if you are you guys into the knowing the sciencey stuff? Do you like that, or is it boring? Too bad, because we're doing it. Ta-da! What is happening? Here we go. Then, here we are again, guys. Medicinal uses. It has a ton of these. If you remember the other night, we were talking about the phytochemicals or phytonutrients. Here, it's pretty similar. And this is what makes up some of the same things is what's making up all of the medicinal properties of these plants. Anethol, you're probably familiar with. It's the same compound in phenyl, anise, star anise, all these guys here, licorice, which is my new favorite. I've been making licorice candies for my stomach, and it's great. And you can see antimicrobial, antibacterial, yeast, fungus. Um, is this one antiviral? No, it's coming down the list. So as an insecticide, not just a repellent, they say it's more effective than DEET for fungus gnats and mold mites, which I've been battling fungus gnats for a few months. It's horrendous. The moment you see one, take action. If you don't know how, ask me later when we're done, because if it gets out of control, it's a nightmare. And then you just have to throw everything out. But more effective than DEET, but yet we use DEET still. It kills as a fumigant, not as a spray. So the insecticide is as a contact spray, as a mist. But as a fumigant, it's effective against cockroaches and weevils. Hopefully I don't end up with that problem, because that sounds awful. And mosquitoes as well. You can burn it. You can put it on your skin, add it to a repellent if you're making a salve or something yourself at home, or if you just burn the dried flowers and leaves, it also works as a repellent. It does make people hit their slides too fast. You do have to be. I think it's impossible to ingest the amount that would do this, but it has an estrogenic effect. It fits into the receptors for estrogen almost perfectly, but it doesn't bind as tightly, so it's unstable. So it can have some benefits, like clearing up acne. It reduces cramps and I think hot flashes when it's working well for you. But otherwise, if it's too much of it up and down, or if you're taking other medicines, maybe it's going to cause some unwanted side effects. But this is the one of the chemicals that's responsible for the breast milk production. Chavicol, which I keep thinking of chavs in the UK, and that makes me think they're more, I don't know, like hardcore or something, is the sweet smelling scent that we get from not just this one, which I can actually smell it now when it's dried behind me, but also in fennel and anise and licorice. If you smell it really, if you get a good whiff of it, it can make your salivary glands start going off, which is kind of satisfying, I find. It's also what gives it a bitter taste if it's too concentrated. It's one of the chemicals that repels insects and predators. A lot of the chemicals that are bitter in nature are the active chemicals that are medicinal for humans, and it's something that those. Oh, we're gonna have Anna join us. Do I let her in from here, or can you do that? Okay. So it's part of what is repelling all the little guys that we don't want. It works as an anticoagulant. So it's great if you're a healthy individual and you want to keep your blood flowing. But if you are taking any sort of blood thinners, it can interact with them as well. 1 second. We're just going to let someone in. I didn't want to close the meeting to anyone, so it happens. But I don't know if she's there yet or if she just registered. Oh, there's Carla. What? Let Carla in.
She's already in.
Oh, hey, Carla. I didn't know you're here.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Fine.
How are things down in Costa Rica?
Everything good? I'm here with Richie.
Ay, no way. Hey, Rich. ¿Qué tal?
How's it going?
Pretty good. When did you guys get here? Have you seen all of the flower stuff?
Like 15 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. So you've seen most of it. I'm gonna send you guys all of this at the end, so you'll have it. But this probably
Okay.
grows down where you guys are as well, right?
Yeah.
Do you recognize this? I think there's a lag. Okay, we'll head on, and then we'll chat in a bit. So, here we go. It's also the smell. Oh, so I was saying if you're taking blood thinners for any reason or any other drugs where the side effect is thinning of the blood, things that with Javicol you may want to regulate. I believe also in cloves. Cloves are, I believe it's one of the pumpkin spice cloves that have a lot as well. So you have to be. It's a diuretic and a blood thinner, so that it can cause some complications if you're eating more than they say 3 a day, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I can't imagine when you eat an entire clove. Everyone picks it out of their hand at Christmas. One of the cool things, it's also an appetite suppressant, so that's why it's in a lot of diet teas as well. And the same goes for licorice, which share this phytochemical. Licorice. Oh well, maybe that's another day. But then you see here some other plants, maybe not as common, that have it as well. Probably no, none of that is real common everywhere. It's a lot of Asian stuff. But tonka beans, maybe you've had at some point. It's in a lot of vegetarian food. They're sweet. They're actually really sweet tasting because of this. And so it's used in a lot of desserts that use beans. Boop. Estradiol. This one is also working on your estrogen receptors. So it can cause, well, we'll see here, some of the same things as the one that we were just talking. No, we skipped it. Hey, buddy. So it does the same thing. It weakly binds to your estrogen receptors and can, in both men and women, and can cause some imbalance if you're not careful. They say that, I don't know if you guys remember a while ago where it was a news story. Maybe it wasn't news. It was a news story with air quotes, about the theory why Chinese men are so effeminate, and they said it was because they ate too much soy, and this is why the estradiol that's in this marigold is also found in soy in huge amounts. So if someone's drinking soy milk and eating soy in every meal or TVP that has soy mixed in, you can there is such a thing as too much with this one. I never would have thought it was also in turpentine, but I love huffing turpentine, so that makes sense. Tarragon basil. Yep, this is one of the similarities that with the French tarragon that have likened it, even though they're in different families. Isorhamnetin. Everyone say that out loud without reading it. Nope. Okay, nobody wants to. It's a flavonoid and antioxidant, found in these other guys here. I know we all think antioxidants are the best thing we can be eating, but there is such a thing as too many antioxidants. I think we talked about that on Wednesday as well. So the best thing, the best way to avoid taking in too many antioxidants is eating for your climate, just eating things that are local and in season instead of things from all over the world all the time year round. This guy here, methyluginal, This is part of the antifungal, but also one of the things that attracts and repels the bugs. It's also, you'll find this in a lot of antifungal remedies in health food stores, places like that. The like iodine thing that stains your skin and nails for months when you're using it. Is it worth it? I don't know. Quercetin, I always want to say it wrong, is also what is found in the skins of garlic and onions. It's a fantastic antioxidant. And what we were seeing the other night, if you weren't here, is that it's mostly concentrated in the outer peel closest to the roots. So when you're chopping up your onions, try to use as much as you can the closer you get to the roots. And just depending what you're doing with it, throw it in with a blender if you're blending it. If you're sauteing it, just try to get down there. So it does help us in a way that it's taking out the free radicals that would otherwise oxidize our healthy cells. But when there's an influx of antioxidants, it confuses the system and it starts to attack. It overloads the system and they're not able to clearly identify the real enemies in there. So it starts to attack its own system, ourselves, which is what can trigger autoimmune diseases in some people. Which this was interesting. I didn't know it's a lot of honey can have the quercetin. If there's a plant nearby where the pollinators are, well, the bees would be the only one, bees and wasps are feeding off of those plants, they pass that quercetin onto the honey. So if you see a marigold honey or what would be another one? I've never heard of a garlic honey, but that would be amazing. I'm gonna look that up. That sounds fantastic. And so anytime this is a great argument for not skipping the fats in your foods. Quercetin, like a lot of other phytonutrients and phytochemicals, they're not water soluble, they're fat soluble, so they're only bioavailable to our bodies to make use of it if they are taken in combination with a fat. And there are a ton of healthy fats, including manteca, which is the rendered pork fat. But don't skip on your fats in your foods. It's not the 80s anymore, so we know better. Some of we got over here, didn't we? Our medicinal uses and this jumbled pile of slides. Did we get all the way through that? I'm gonna check in a second. I think we did, but because we got to yummy. So whatever reason this is all bejumbled up, can we restore the other version? This one's for some reason skips all the good stuff. I don't know what's up. I don't know what's up, guys. That's really super confusing. But traditional, well, the one of the very first uses of it was in the chocolatl, which is like if you've visited Mexico and you've had I hate saying hot chocolate because that's the European version of it. But if you've had the chocolate drink from Mexico, if you've seen those tablets of solid chocolate that you mix into water or milk, this was one of the original flavorings for that. Now they use anise because it's a little more potent, but actual anise came with the Spanish, so it wasn't there. They kind of swapped it out when they started taking over their markets and stuff. They taste pretty similar. I imagine that anise would, it's just more potent. It's healthier actually, or it's more concentrated with the antivirals that are found in both. So if I had to pick between the two when I'm talking about a virus, I would pick star anise. Are we back to the right spot here? It's backwards for some reason. Pardon me, guys. This is I feel like I'm naked in front of a crowd. So they use it in this hot chocolate drink, along with cinnamon, roasted almonds, vanilla beans, and chili pepper. And those are all endemic plants that were domesticated here in this region, including vanilla. Most people don't realize that. Maybe, I think all of you guys know that, but I think most people don't know that vanilla is Mexican. And the reason it's so expensive now is that because there were typhoons in Africa that wiped out all of the Madagascar fields. Super sad, never in the news. The other way to use it, down south in Chiapas, they'll use it to flavor their atole, which is a corn-based drink that you will find hot on the street during the winter months, which is just about now. Sometimes they just put it in for the color, sometimes for the flavor. In Guerrero, it's used in the pozole. And then in these 3 other states here, atoles as well. And they use it in a lot of cocktails and fancy resort hotels. You can make an elote with it, which I did, and I'm going to show you in a minute, and then you get to see how I eat corn. It's like a sandwich face, but it's with corn. It's always super embarrassing, and maybe I'm going to edit that part out so no one can screenshot it and share it with the world. And then otherwise with chayote, which is a pear-looking, it's a pear-shaped squash that's pretty delicious, and I think you see it everywhere. There's 2 versions of it. There's a smooth and a spiky. They're great raw and cooked as well. I didn't make that today. It should be in season. It's squash season, but I was craving elote, and since you guys aren't here to help me eat it, I had to pick between the 2. Then it ends there again for some reason. It's the 13th. I'm gonna chalk it up to that, but I promise there are recipes. Yeah, okay, here to make the tea. A lot of herbs you don't want to actually boil. You don't want them on heat too long because it can start to break down some of the medicinal properties of it. For example, anything with vitamin C breaks down really quickly with heat, which is why tomatoes go from sour to sweet the longer you cook them. They taste better for some things, but you lose some of those nutrients. It's the same when you're making herbal teas. So you don't want, there are exceptions where you do want to boil them for a little bit or between 5 minutes, and then there's a handful for an hour. But the general rule is heat the water and take it off the flame and put your herbs in afterwards and let it steep for 5-10 minutes. One thing, it's kind of related, but it's worth mentioning until everyone remembers. You never want to boil ginger. Ginger turns from something really healthy for you to something not just neutral, but bad. So please keep in mind, if you're making ginger tea with any of this stuff, just don't cook your ginger. And if the same would go for recipes, but sometimes there's no way around it. Just don't eat too much cooked ginger. Here are some of the recipes. I'm going to send you guys this so you have the links. It's pretty hard to find traditional recipes with this stuff in it. There's only 2 that really survived aside from the atole. There's the elotes here, which is the corn we're going to see in a second, and then a soup made from that corn. I'm going to count it as a separate recipe, because if we don't, then we're just back to 1. And then something that a few came up with their names, but they weren't in reference to the flour. And then, but the recipes looked like they would be delicious with this flour as a flavoring. So I put them in as things that I'm going to try to cook and add this flavor. And donuts, I'm not going to say we shall be eating donuts, but I wanted donuts when I made this. It sounded good, so I left it. But the pericone up top, it's like the Italian Easter meringue, and it's mostly sugar and eggs, which is going to counteract all of the benefits of it if I put in as much pericone as will fit, but I'm still going to try it. It's going to be delicious. This is the recipe of can I call it a recipe? It's boiling corn and putting stuff on it. But you do it for both the flavor and the color. And it's not as common these days, but you'll see it more the further south you go. And that is the end of it. I'm going to go over to the kitchen and show you guys the corn, and then y'all can watch me eat corn. And then I'm going to show you, and then we can chat for a bit, hang out. I don't know if Amanda had to leave already, but we'll see if some of the other people showed up in the meantime. Give me 1 second while I walk. It's about a quarter mile over to my kitchen from here, so in about 20 minutes I'll arrive. That's not true. I lied to you guys, and I'm sorry. But has anyone ever have you heard of this we're going to call it an herb because that's the context, but have you heard of this flower or seen it or tasted it?
Nope.
Nobody. Jessica, have you? Were you drinking the mother's milk tea at all ever? Oh, I don't know if we lost her. Yeah, I wish you guys could smell. Wait, so that's what you guys see now. What's up? So we're gonna walk slowly, carefully, I guess. Yeah, we're gonna walk. Okay, switch heads. I feel like a poor man's Martha Stewart's bastard child's cousin who inherited everything after a terrible plane crash, and she had no choice.
Tim, you're mute. You're mute.
Okay, is that better?
Yep.
You just missed the whole scenario that I made up in my head while I was walking over here. I was the sole heir to Martha Stewart's fortune empire after she died in a helicopter crash. And that's me doing this now. All right, so we here had boiled the elote. This is something anyone can do. It's boiling corn. And you can see, here we go. I'm gonna do it this way. It's not too hot. So all we did basically, if you guys know what corn is and you've done this before, tell me, and I don't have to tell you how to do it, but just peeled it off, broke it, threw it in water with a bunch of, you use the whole thing, the flowers and the stems and the leaves, threw it in, boiled it. And if you can see the color, a before and after would be great. It was like a pale white yellow before, and now it's kind of a darker yellow.
It's like a green.
Does it look like that to you too? It looks kind of green to me. That's from the leaves. I guess it. I'm trying to see it. I wish. Yeah. I'm gonna Pantone that so you can see the green too. I thought it was my eyes going bad. So then everyone's had a look at this while they were visiting here, right? You do it the same. I didn't go for mayonnaise because it seemed like it's not, if we're talking about health foods and medicinals, maybe mayonnaise isn't the best thing to show. So I just went with lime and then cheese, chili, and salt. Pretty standard elote prep. I'm starving, so I am actually going to eat this. If that doesn't gross anybody out, and maybe I'll mute it if the sound is too gross to hear me chewing. Chili powder. This is Pekin, so it's pretty hot. Do you want one? Would you like an elote? Okay, I'm gonna make 2 of them. Can you bring a plate and I'll throw it over to you? Ooh, that's a lot. This one's yours. This one's perfect. Oh yeah, I can walk over there. So,
Tim, what's
yes.
the name of the herb?
Sorry,
What's the name of the herb?
pericon, or hierba like yanis. There are. I'll send you the slides so that you have it.
Okay.
But probably where you are, Irbanis or Pericon. North of here, it's Mexican Tarragon. But I'm curious if you guys have it down there, because it grows all through Central America as well. So you should. Do you have herbs and medicinals in most of your markets?
Yeah, we have. Actually, we have that like anise.
Uh-huh. The
I don't know.
star-shaped one? Is it the star-shaped one or the other just like the little seed?
Like the seed.
They taste pretty similar. We were saying we were talking about phytonutrients the other night. And one of them in anise and star anise is what's used in all of the flu remedy medicines that you buy in a store.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure everyone's heard all about this by now. We've had months of too much Googling, right? But it's a good preventative as well. You don't have to wait until you're sick to take it. So if you're eating did everyone just buy it up all of a sudden last March? I probably enjoyed like a new popularity.
There are like a alcohol of anise that is used for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I'm gonna pass this over to the person that is real, and you guys probably think I'm just talking to nobody, but someone handed me those plates. There you go, real person. He refuses to talk, so it makes me look crazy, which is true, but not for this reason. So do you guys want to hear what it sounds like when I bite it? Or is that going to gross you out? I hope it doesn't gross you out because I'm doing it, because I don't actually know how to turn my sound off right now. So it tastes like anise and lavender. It's delicious. I'm going to hang up and eat it. No, that's not true. I do want to eat it. I can wait. Oh, man, that's delicious. Yeah, it would be good with mayonnaise. I I'm not going to say don't do it. I'm just not going to encourage it right now. Oh, okay. So, oh my God,
Yummy.
that's fantastic. Can you hear every time I chew, or just when I bite it?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear
Oh,
you
I'm sorry.
loud and clearly.
That would drive me insane. Yeah, I apologize. So,
Don't worry. It's part of the experience.
yeah, I guess it's I can't say next best thing because it's not even good to just watch and hear someone eat. Anyways, they're super cute. Then if you dry these out, if your corn comes with these, you can dry them out either in the sun or your oven, and you can use them for tamales later on. Or if you're into camping, you can dry them out and dip them in paraffin or wax, and then you twist them up, and it makes a really good fire starter because they burn forever. Ta-da! There it is, and there's our tea behind it. And then we're gonna try to. Did Anna make it? Did she show up? Okay. Well, I saw her register, so I don't. That's too bad. So originally this, and I'm gonna see who's here. And Jessica's still here. Okay. So yay. So originally, thanks for sitting with that. Jess, I know that it was a last minute change, but for the other guys, originally it's planned as a progressive cocktail, which is the more PG version of like a key party in the 70s, which I don't know if they happened anywhere but the US. Did you guys have key parties? Did you guys have key parties in Costa Rica? Your parents or something? Where you have a party, and when you come in, you put your keys in a bowl when you walk into a party. It's all adults, all consenting adults, and they know what's up. I guess most of the time. I hope so. That'd be awful if not. And then when you're getting ready to leave the party, you grab a pair of keys, and whoever keys it is who you go home with. So it's like a spouse swap. So you like swap your lover out for someone else at the party.
Like a cocktail party because you only go to one person's house.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, this is a PG cousin to that, where you so progressive dinner is the idea, and it's where you go to one house for where you go to one house for a cocktail, then you go for hors d'oeuvres, and then you each course is at a different house, and so you go to someone else's house every time for the same meal. So this so yours is food. Do you want me to go first, or you don't want to go first?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Unless anyone did anyone else
Go
make
ahead.
food? You want me to go first? Okay. That's what I did. Which is actually, it seems a lot more complicated than it is. But most of the time you're doing nothing. And it's a little bit of a homebrew, which I haven't tried for maybe a month. Where's the limit over here? Does it go to here? Can you see this finger? Can you see this finger? Where does it go to? Okay. I'm not doing anything weird off screen. I was just curious. All right, that one's no good. So I think all of you know that I homebrew. And so usually I mix a ginger based something, more of a beer, although I don't use any hops or grains. So it's not really a beer, it's a frutal. But I use a champagne yeast, so it's actually more of a champagne. But since I haven't bottled it because I just couldn't be bothered when it was ready, and I just kept adding sugar to keep it alive, thinking I'll bottle it in a couple days, and I didn't. So at this point, it's probably about 19% alcohol. and I was afraid to bottle it because it would be so active that usually, because I do it more of a natural style where I'm not throwing the chemicals to stop the fermentation process, which is what you find in wines. And it's usually what gives you a headache at the end of a wine. So I don't do that. And in this case, what was going to happen probably is that the bottles would start exploding, which if you've ever been around exploding homebrew bottles, it's terrifying. And it can still happen once you chill it and everything. It's supposed to slow down. So I decided this is more of a wine. It's going to taste the same, just no carbonation. And so, oh wait, can you guys even see what I'm talking about? Maybe not.
I don't know.
This guy. So, that's my 5-gallon carboy, which I was lucky to find this year. They sell them in a brew shop, but they also in Laguna, it's like a antiques market. They sell it as well, because this used to be how they would deliver all of the water in Mexico City. So there are ostensibly millions of these around, but they're really rare to find. And I guess the guy didn't know or didn't care, but he sold it to me for 100 pesos, which was not bad. Now it's the plastic ones like that, which when you visited, you've probably seen those, and you swap these back out of the store, which they're lighter, and they last, I guess, but you know, I like the glass. I'm lucky I found that. Usually, have you guys ever brewed before? Do you know, does this look familiar, or does it look really weird to you? No?
I actually can't see you because I'm on my phone, and sometimes that doesn't work. Earlier I could.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Actually, I think you give me some of this
Oh, right.
when I was at your home, like 2 years ago.
When we had a roof lunch
Yeah,
or dinner or
there.
something. Yeah, totally. Was it Easter? No, that was last year. Yeah, so basically you put it in here to ferment. All this does, it's water that makes that, it's the only exit here. So the air has to pass through the water, and then you see it bubbling, which tells you, it's pretty much yeast farts, to put it bluntly. You can see most of the yeast waste is down here. The yeast eats the sugar that's in the mixture. The waste settles at the bottom, and then also escapes as gas, which is also how it's carbonated. So you keep track of the bubbling, and the general rule is when it's down to 1 bubble every 10 seconds, it's about when you want to start your secondary fermentation, or bottling if you're already in your secondary fermentation. This isn't bubbling because it's months old, which I'm excited and scared about. Sometimes I've never done it with tamarind, so I don't know what it's going to do. But when you do it with ginger, it ends up tasting kind of like a bourbon, like a ginger bourbon. So I'm going to get some of this guy. Anytime you're pulling, mood change. Anytime you're siphoning out, you don't want the siphon to hit the bottom because it's going to pull up all their poo. It's a fact of life, guys. But I think I can do this by myself. We're going to see. I do it all the time. I want to do it on, can you see that glass?
Yeah.
You can still see here? Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna do it. And then if I make a mess, I make a mess. I'm just gonna close my drawers. Am I not in there? So this is how you, what's up, dude? Okay, I'm gonna have to start it a little bit lower. It's a siphon. Oh, that's why. Could you guys see that and you just didn't tell me? You did. I know it because you're laughing about it. You wanted to what? This smells real strong, you guys. Thankfully, I'm not driving anywhere tonight. Am I? No. Bruh, come on. Okay. So, eventually I'll get, eventually, maybe. Okay.
It's for doing exercise.
It's, okay, if I don't move it too much, it should get it. Just blow yourself under the surface, bro. It's, wow, it smells like an apple bourbon, really, or whiskey. Okay, are you gonna make it? Okay, I'm gonna try with this guy. Try with my bottle brush. It was just, usually the hose would be like unraveled for a while before you start. So it would relax a little bit. But right now I just took it out of the container, so it's curly. Okay, there we go. There we go. I think that's it. Okay, so, no, yep, no, barely. I promise you I've done this before. Okay, let's go. There. All right, man, okay. I'm gonna do, you can't see me, right?
Right.
Oh man, it's delicious, but strong. It's real strong. That was just like an old siphon the gas out of your neighbor's car trick. Oh, wow. So it ended up, I'll tell you in a second. So you can see me taste it. And then I want to hear, well, I feel like I'm with, what's up? I feel like I am working with Silent Bob.
Yeah.
Because I guess maybe that's like a tech thing. You can't see that. I'm going to move it where you can see it in a second, but there's kind of a delicate process of siphoning where it's potentially going to end up all over the place. So I need to focus for a second. And then, can you hear that though? It sounds like someone's taking a whiz real far away. Do you like my descriptions? I don't know. They're accurate. So I crud. Okay. You guys, if you could see this, it's really making me nervous because it's really super close to the top and I can't stop the siphon. Okay. Not too bad. Okay. Then if you want to stop a siphon, you just need to bring the bottom of it higher up and then you lose the pull. Okay, there we go. So, it's a nice, like cidery, rich color. I don't know if you can see it. It's a color of tamarind, maybe a little more red. Let's see if it changes up here. No, right? Does that still look red to you guys?
Yeah, it's like red.
So that, yeah, I did not expect that. So it's tamarind. Tamarind, for this I used, instead of a refined sugar, I use a syrup from the maguey cactus. So it was just tamarind here. You guys are familiar, right? So just a tamarind jute, like an agua de, agua fresca, just tamarind sweetener and the yeast to get it going. So you're gonna drink this one. It's if you guys have had natural wines, they're different. It's not carbonated, this one, but it's super. It's more like a liquor than anything else. Because I put about 5 times as much sugar as you can, but champagne yeast will suffocate over 19%. So if it's all the way that it could have gone, it's at 19%, which is a little bit more than a champagne. It smells like champagne. That's the poo. I love it. Ugh. It's strong, y'all. So I could, at this point, I could either put more live yeast in, get it fermenting again, and then bottle it, and it'll get fizzy, and it'll be like it originally was intended. But I'm gonna be honest, bottling 62 bottles in an afternoon is a little bit of a chore. So I'm probably, oh, you can't see that above me. I've been saving all the wine bottles from, you don't have to see it. Oh, if you want to. That's where I store all my stuff upstairs. I've been saving wine bottles from students in my cooking classes, and I'm just gonna bottle it that way. It's a lot less pain in the butt. And so if anyone's deterred by that step of the process of homebrewing, just do this style. You get wine bottles and you don't have to cap it. You don't have to worry about it exploding and carbonating. Totally worth it. I feel that already. So now we're gonna, so that's what do you guys have questions about any of that? Oh, you're up here still. You're up here, down here, up here. Do you guys have any questions? Have you thought about home brewing before? Did this make you want to do it? You have?
No, I just said that it terrifies me. Probably won't.
Oh, which part? The exploding bottle part? I shouldn't have said that. Then you wouldn't be so scared.
And also just, I think maybe I just associate liquids with poisoning more so than a food. It feels like something I could easily make myself sick with if I mess it up.
Well, the wonderful thing about it is that the alcohol kills all the bad stuff.
That's true.
It's pretty good about self-regulating. I have never. You run into more of that if you're doing like a wild harvest kind of wine. If you're picking things out of out of a field or a forest, if you're foraging for your ingredients, then you might want to. There are sulfate tablets that you can throw in that kill all of that stuff, and that's usually the first part of it. But I live dangerously. I don't do that. I should, but I don't. But especially in the case of a ginger beer, a lot of the yeast that you want that helps ferment it, you don't even have to add yeast if you don't want to add brewer's yeast for ginger, because it has enough like ambient yeast on the skin. And that's why it's a thing, is because it had the yeast. It was a perfect combination to brew without needing anything else. So I guess I'm just in that habit of not doing that. So I don't for anything. And I've never had a problem. Today's going to be the day that I get a problem. It's definitely, today is that day probably. So I'm gonna eat this tamarind that I've just pulled off of that seed. And Jess, are you ready?
Sure.
We're gonna switch over to your camera. One moment. I'm just gonna pretend I'm doing it here. Oh, here it is. Oh, they changed their interface. What about you guys, Rich, Carla? Have you homebrewed before, or do a lot of people homebrew out there?
My grandma is trying to convince me to make like some kombucha. It's kind of it has a similar process like the homebrew.
Yeah.
But it tastes different, I think.
Where?
But,
Yeah.
we never started, so
it's super easy, and it makes you. If you've never drank it before, it will change your life. Makes you super regular for one. You'll never have to guess when you're going to go to the bathroom. And then we were talking about it the other night. We actually made a recipe up for a salad dressing out of it.
It has like a lot of probiotics, right?
Yeah, super probiotic. And it also has a similar makeup, like the nutrient makeup as breast milk. So I changed cameras again. No, I didn't. Okay. So it's super healthy. It's everything you need to survive. So we're going to pass it over to Jet. Oh, you look adorable. What's up? Do you want to introduce yourself? I think they came in afterwards. So.
Yeah, no problem. My name's Jessica. I live near Chicago, and I met Tim about a year ago when I was in Mexico City for some medical stuff. And here we are. So this dish is kind of stupid. It is not a very cultured or perhaps even interesting dish, but it is objectively delicious. It's a Tex-Mex thing, which basically just means bastardized Latin cuisine, I think. But it is called sweet corn tomalito, and it is a steamed corn pudding. So I already like fluffed that side, so this side just kind of needs fluffing. And then I think the way that it's most often served is like you take an ice cream scoop and then you put it on your plate. And it's just really good. It's sweet. It's corn. It's masa harina. What else? Maybe a little bit of milk. Mine is dairy free, and it worked just fine. I did oat milk. That's about it. There's some cornmeal, but that's it. It's simple. It's cooked in a double broiler or in a pan on top of a pan with water, and. Yeah, that's it. You would I don't know where the name comes from or how legitimate of a food it is, but it's called tomalito, and you can easily look up a recipe.
It's a very Midwestern thing, right? This is one of my favorites. Do you use cream corn, or did you use kernel corn and then you add the non-dairy dairy?
The recipes typically call for frozen corn kernels that you blend up.
Oh, yours is healthier, because the one that we make in Missouri which is like right next to you. So I don't know how we've managed to maintain two totally separate recipes all this time. It is cream corn, which is, I think, about a third corn syrup. So it's delicious. It's a sugar rush, which it shouldn't be because it's corn. And it's maybe a little bit like matrixy, because it's corn sweetened by syrup made from corn.
Oh,
it's a little, it's more Inception than Matrix, I guess. I have never seen all of Inception, so I don't know what I'm talking about. And then do you put anything on top of it?
I don't. I have zhuzhed it up a little bit with maybe some pepper if I want to do a sweet and spicy version, but that's all I've really ever tried with it. I'm sure it's extremely versatile and you could do lots of things. I kind of want to try putting some pepper, like cut up jalapeno and stuff in it too.
Oh yeah. It would, oh my gosh, I can smell it actually. That's such a St. Louis thing as well. I'm gonna find out where it came from. Can you send us the recipe, and then we'll put it together with some of the other stuff from this week, and then they'll be separated by the day so we can find them more easily. But yeah, if you want to send it, and any story about it, and then I want that. We both made corn stuff.
That is really funny. When you said elote, I was like, wait, really? It's the Thanksgiving in us.
Totally. Yeah. Well, it's the first harvest of the corn now here. So we're starting to get like the real fat elotes on the street, which I'm excited about. But I think I'm going to carry my own mayonnaise substitute with me. The mayonnaise, it's delicious, but it's never the real mayonnaise. It's always almonds, which is not worth. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Carla, Rich, do you guys? I know you weren't expecting this part of it, but do you want to show us any food that you've made or a drink that you're drinking? Anything to add to it?
Actually, we don't have anything right now.
We don't have food.
we can show you some chocolates we have here.
Ooh, I want to see chocolates. Is it the maracuya? The passion fruit chocolate?
It's dark chocolate with almonds and Himalayan salt.
Throw a leaf on it and say it's an hors d'oeuvre real quick.
Huh? Just a second.
Let's throw a leaf on it. Yeah. No, I know you guys weren't expecting it, but if you're back on a Friday next Friday is different. If you're back in 2 Fridays, 27th, I think. That's what we do. We have it's more of a. It's not usually. Oh yeah, I want. Oh man, why don't I have any chocolate? I usually always have chocolate. Okay, now I'm gonna go. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not eating 7-Eleven chocolate. Yes, next Friday. Well, I'll send you the schedule for the whole week. Next Friday is more. We pair people up with someone around. Am I in this? No, we pair people up with a stranger somewhere in the world, and they have a dinner together and learn about whatever they want to talk about. And then the Friday after that is going to be something like this again. But I hope you guys can. Well, tomorrow we're going to cook recipes related to what we talked about on Wednesday, which was antiviral foods to fight off this very real pandemic that we're having.
I was wondering with the. I think Jessica showed us like a dessert, right? Like the sweet corn tamalito.
No, that's not a dessert.
I was wondering how would it look using like the blue corn that it's really common in Mexico.
That would be amazing. But you know what? I'm sure you can get it. I've never seen the kernels of the blue corn. I've seen flour and masa. But I'm being told by the real person that's also in the room with me that you can buy the kernels. So maybe I'm going to find that, and maybe I'll try to make that for next week if I can find it.
Do you remember the restaurant in the street in front of Woodford?
With tlacoyos? With the football shaped stuff?
Yeah, they had some of tlacoyos with blue corn.
Yeah, they're the best. you have to be, well, not careful. It's not going to hurt you, but some people will just add beet juice to their corn, and because it's has the base, the nixtamalizing, whatever, it's usually soda ash. Oh yeah, what? I've never seen that. They sell the blue corn in Maseca, or with the Maseca brand. I've never seen that. What? Can you guys see that? No. Anyways, it's a common corn, nixtamalized corn that you find in the store to make tortillas, and it's never going to show up. It's just blue. Sometimes they will, because blue corn's more expensive, sometimes they'll color it with beet juice, and because of the base that's been used to nixtamalize it, it turns a lighter shade to a blue, and so they'll trick you and just put that beet juice, which is based from a juice stand on the street, to color it to make it look like blue corn, but it's not blue corn. But yeah, that would be amazing. Or with there's a green corn, but that's just gonna look like veggies. I think the blues or the red would be good. Oh, okay. You guys can see that there?
Yeah, we can see.
Do you have this store in Costa Rica, or is it just here?
No, Chedraui.
Chedraui. How can you say it and I can't say it?
Chedraui.
It's a French word.
What? No.
Gaga. Okay. Anyways.
But you can say
you can buy them.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, those are the first ones I learned. So we're gonna send everyone the recipes for everything, or it'll be up in an archive that you can get to, so you don't have to rely on email. You just leave it all there and get it when you want it. And then if anyone comes across a recipe for the Tarragon, let me know, and we can add that. And then tomorrow, yeah, we're gonna cook what we were talking about related on Wednesday, which is antiviral foods. So we're gonna make 3 different dishes. If you wait, Jessica, did you get the list? Did you get that document with the shopping list?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen it, but it may have gone to another folder. I'll double check.
It's well, yeah, no, that's not a good. I was gonna say it's just stuff you have around the house, but it's like the stuff that I have around the kitchen, but I don't.
No worries.
But it's a lot of spices, dried stuff. If you, I don't want you to have to like run around in the morning. It's
fine. I don't mind. I don't go anywhere. It's an excuse.
Oh, okay. Perfect. It's nothing crazy. If you want to make, maybe the only thing is if you want to make your own bone broth, you could do, if you have some bones sitting around, you can do that tonight, but you can buy the box. So we're going to go through the complicated part of the recipe, and then the rest just to make the broth. So you don't even need this stuff for the actual soup. We're just going to do the broth part, because that alone takes an hour or something. And then we're going to make 2 other things while we're waiting for that. If you, Carla and Rich, if you guys want to do that, I can send you the recipes for tomorrow. If you want to, I don't know what your plans are in the afternoon. You want to?
I don't know yet, but send it to us. We'll let you know.
Ouch. Okay, so you're considering me.
We are on Carla's brother house, and we have to move to our house tomorrow, and it's like 100 kilometers from distance.
What are you talking about? Okay. Maybe, yeah, well, I'll send it. Even if you want to join, you don't have the stuff to make it, just to watch and hang out, you can. So I'll send that to Carla's email.
Yeah.
And yeah, I hope so. I hope I see you guys tomorrow. If not, next week. So this is just the first, it's not even the first full week, but we're going to be doing this for a month. And it changes the type of class is about the same every. It's pretty consistent, but the subject changes and the ingredients change, that kind of stuff. So anytime you have, or anytime you want to get away from the family, which depends on your family, maybe you do, maybe you don't. This is a good excuse. You could just tell them like you're invested and you have something to do. But maybe you like them and you don't want to do. Well, invite them all. It's fine. Cool. If you guys have questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will maybe see you tomorrow.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
I'm gonna chug this now.
Provecho.
Provecho. I didn't drink any of that the whole time. Bye. Check out my OnlyFans.
Thank you. Ah,
No, I shouldn't tell my friends that I'm gonna have OnlyFans. My friends don't need to see that. See you guys.
bye.
Somehow it's gonna end. I don't know. I hate saying goodbye, so I'm just gonna end it that way.